There we go. All right, Shalom on Christ is officer of 1,000 Yahweh, and this is the Wednesday night law class, and we got a school here at 3353 Glenwood Road. That's in Decatur, Georgia, and we are under the I.S.U.P.K. This is the been here since 1969, teaching blacks, Hispanics, and Native American Indians that they are the Israelites. So we're gonna get right into it. All right. Today's topic is talking about us marrying heathens, which we all know that's something we should not do, of course, right?
Right.
So us marrying heathens, like, it just leads to us our destruction, and you can see that all over, correct? Like, you can even look at Kanye West, what's going on with him right now, right? He losing his damn mind being with this heathen. Do you know why the Most High doesn't? Do you know why the Most High doesn't want us with heathens?
Come.
Go ahead.
Because it'll lead us to other gods in other ways.
Exactly. It's gonna lead us to other gods, and that's there's other sins that God, don't get me wrong, God punishes us for our sins, right?
Right.
But what is like the number one sin that we should never do?
Idolatry.
Idolatry. And if you follow these heathens, you marry these heathens, you're gonna be an idolater.
Right.
Let's just be for real. Like, you can see, like, cause these heathens, right? Like, you can go to the rapper Eve, right? You go to her Instagram page. I haven't checked, but I'm saying, like, when I see heathens, our brothers and sisters marry heathens, like, you won't see, like, they'll have children and all that. You don't see them celebrating Christmas like they do when they got a heathen spouse.
Right.
When they get a heathen spouse, oh my God, they taking pictures with the ugly sweaters, right? They got the ugly sweaters. They got pictures of eggnog.
Right.
Like, they go full into the Christmas spirit. Even being an Israelite, living in the projects, right? We don't celebrate Christmas like the heathens do. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Our Christmas to us is pretty much, that's how you know if we Israelites. We still treat our, like, the holidays as feast days. Correct?
Right.
That's what we do. We don't get into all of these extra like, I'm not saying we don't, but it's not as big on the list like it is with the heathen. Like, when they get in Christmas spirit, I mean, God damn, they embody it. Like, everything. They get, like I said, they get the ugly sweaters. They get all of the, they had on the little ugly Christmas pajamas. The whole house be Christmased up.
Right.
They got the mistletoe everywhere,
right,
kissing on each other. They got the little, like the little wreath that's on the door. I mean, they got the, like, I remember my mom, like, when I was little, she would go around and go to the Edomite side of town just to see the Christmas lights. We didn't have all that. Our Christmas lights,
right,
you put one thing up there, and that's it. You didn't do all of that.
Right, like, they have a lot of extracurricular activities around that holiday that I'm honestly seeing, like, blacks trying to follow after that type. Mm-hmm. But that whole elf on the shelf thing that they do the caroling. They'll go out singing in front of people's houses and shit. Salakia. And they'll do the massive nativity scene in the front yard, or have a big Santa Claus and sleigh up on top of the house. Mm-hmm. And it's just, they do it so big. And it's from the time, Thanksgiving to after New Year's. You see them still having that stuff up. Like, it's ridiculous. They really indulge in those things.
They get drunk on it. Like,
drunk
on it. Halloween coming up. You about to see people, just looking ugly for no reason. They're wearing all the costumes you can find. So they literally embody whatever the stuff is.
But I was about to say, because the heathens, they know who they are from thousands of years ago. So they really doing the holidays, not just the holiday. They doing it according to their customs. So you hear the word Saturnalia, or Yule, or whatever they call Halloween. Like it's going back. Like they taking it to a really more of a pagan level.
Halloween is Old Hallows Eve.
Oh yeah, they Old Hallows Eve.
Cause that's what they say. Like, cause the next day is like the Saints' Day.
Okay.
So it was like, this was the time when the good was coming in and the evil was leaving. It was like they felt as though this was the time that, like, Old Hallow, Hallow means like holy.
Right.
So that's where they get that from, Old Hallows Eve. Because
Right.
it's supposed to be like the holy day next. So they said during that night, it's the night that it's like the evil night. So that, that's when the evil spirits can come out this night. Because the next day is going to be, good.
Right.
Was that it? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just telling that part.
No, I was just saying like we still just like we coming back to the Israelites, we don't know nothing about it, or we do Christmas and all other holidays. Well, we know about that. It's been drilled in our head, but we don't know going back. It's not part of our customs as far as going back to our bloodline.
Mm-hmm.
So when we get with the heathen, it takes those holidays up to a whole other level.
Yep.
You know what I mean? The little symbolism, the little figurines in their house. It'd be like, oh, I ain't know it was all this.
Yeah,
That's exactly what you're gonna get when you marry a heathen. You're gonna celebrate all 12 days of Christmas.
Oh, you're gonna do all that, man. You gonna do all that. Like, people don't even know, like, what was the one, like, they do the bobbing for apples.
Right.
You're gonna do that. You're gonna do the sack races. Like, for some, like, there's a lot of stuff we don't even really do. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't do bobbing for apples, really. When have you ever seen somebody do that? Like, you seen that. When you seen it, it was other devils really hosting it.
Right.
It was never, like, black people doing it. So, just a lot of stuff we don't even do. Like Easter, man. You know where that comes from? All of that. They used to get, like, animal carcasses and slap it on naked women. That's where all the red and stuff comes from. That's supposed to be blood. Yeah, man. These heathens are sick, man. If you learn some of the traditions of these days, man, they would discuss. No, it might have been Valentine's Day. So like Valentine's Day. So it's sick, man. It's sickening. That's why, I always tell you, like, that's why they were so into these holidays so bad that's why Constantine had to infuse it all under one thing to make them, see eye to eye.
Right.
So, the Southeast would be big into Thanksgiving, Northeast would be big into Christmas. You know what they called it at that time, of course. Mm-hmm. And so they unite them all. That's what they had to do, right?
Right.
That's why, like I said, if you marry these other nations, you're gonna find yourself. You're gonna be walking around with a Santa Claus hat on. You're gonna have it all on, man. You got an ugly sweater. Try to tell you, man. You're gonna put jack-o'-lanterns in your house. Celebrating that. You're gonna be. I mean, it's everything, man. I'm trying to think what else the other like Halloween customs it is. It's a lot. Like, you don't even know that we don't, like I said, we don't participate in it like that. You're gonna have all the Christmas stockings.
Right.
All of that stuff. Only thing black people do is put they Christmas, is just all Christmas tree and presents. They do a lot of stuff for Christmas, and that's what all of these things come from, man. Come from us serving other guys, and of course we marrying heathens. I can't confirm it, but possibly Constantine was probably married to a heathen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying we teach that, or I'm not saying it's a confirmation, but just from knowing the history, that it's a very well possibility.
Right.
He was married to a heathen because of how he was trying to unite them. He was trying to unite them so much. See what I'm saying?
Right.
He was trying to unite them. So, like I said, it's all over the Bible. Can you go to Genesis chapter 6 for me?
Come. On the top, sir.
Go ahead.
Come. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 6 and verse 1. And it came to pass, when men began to multiply on the face of the earth, and daughters were born unto them, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose.
So that tells you right there. People, you get taught in all these other religions that the sons of God, you think that they're angels.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But that's because they don't understand the Bible. The sons of God are the Adamites, going through that lineage of through Seth.
Right.
Those are the sons of God, and they seen the daughters of men. They see Cain, his wives or his daughters, and they wanted to lay with them. But it was other nations, of course,
Right.
there, right? How can we prove there were other nations there? It's just a little test. How can we prove there were other nations? Go ahead.
Salakia, so we can use Cain going off and finding his ribs, his rib, and things like that, going away from the garden or wherever Adam and Eve were, and how he was afraid of all those who would kill him.
Exactly.
And all of that. He wasn't afraid of his mama and daddy killing him.
Exactly.
Then he went off and found another woman somewhere. Like, what was she doing over there? Like,
exactly. So
right.
That's one way that you can go right there in the same book.
Right.
And show that.
There's a chapter or two before Salakia.
You can go right there. What's another way you can find out? I'm trying to see what's the depth of your knowledge real quick.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
Find out there's more person on earth.
Yeah,
Maybe more than just the Adamites.
Uh-huh.
Besides some, Cain find a wife, of course.
Yeah, besides what he said.
He said that?
Yeah, you said that already.
Okay. He said the wife.
Try to see what's the depth of your knowledge real quick.
It's like I know, but it's like I ain't saying it. Okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead, what you got?
Salaki, sir. Being that creation took place in chapter 1, you saw that every other being that was created, all the animals were created in bursts in terms of a multitude. And so I think it's verse 26 of chapter 1 talks about the creation of man and mankind, woman and man and female made he them. And so there's your men and females that he made on earth. And then in chapter 2, you see it speaks about Adam and how he took Eve from his stock. Blood, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone doesn't mean that she's a literal bone out of his body. That just meant that she was a part of his family, of his people.
That's another way.
Kind.
There's one more, but I know of course. I'm not saying I'm, the generals over here or nothing, but go ahead.
Also, how Eve went out and the philosophies of the others. I mean, I know you probably want to think about that, but you know how, the other philosophies, the forbidden fruit or whatnot.
You own it, but where is it at though?
Oh, so where is that?
Yeah, where is it at?
Okay. Yeah, I gotta pull it up.
Alright, give me 1 second, I'll find it for you.
So that would be chapter 3 of Genesis.
That's where it's at there, but where is it explaining at that place? Give me 1 second, I'll find it. Okay. Let me see. Okay. I was in the wrong chapter. Okay. Go to Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 3.
Come.
See if I can remember this whole breakdown.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 31 and verse 3. Behold, the Assyrians was a cedar in Lebanon with fair branches.
So there was a cedar. What's a cedar?
A tree.
Exactly. That's a tree.
Come.
With fair branches. That means they look good.
Come.
Fair means it was something nice to look upon.
Right.
Fair does not mean white. Just so y'all know, it does not mean that.
Come.
It just means something good to look upon. Keep going.
Come. Salakia, and with a shadowing shroud.
So that means like it covered, like it was a great big,
Right.
covering over you. Keep going.
And of a high stature.
So that means it was tall. It was very, you could see it, very tall. Keep going.
And his top was among the thick bow.
So the top of it had the, like the bows of it was very strong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It had thicker. It was like a good tree to watch. Look at. Keep going.
Khan. The waters made him great.
Mm-hmm.
The deep set him up on high, with his rivers, running round about his plants.
Okay. All right. Now, that means that, how they break it down? Like, I guess you kind of call it like knowledge.
Right.
Was coming in.
Right.
And it fed this tree.
That's right.
Right?
Khan.
It fed this tree. So the waters, they had all of the, what's the word I want to say? All the nourishment coming from the waters, right?
Right.
Keep going.
Khan. And his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth.
Let's see where you at. Where you shot forth. Okay. And his bows, you said.
Oh, Salakia. I think I skipped.
You think you skipped 4.
Salakia. Verse 4. The waters made him great. The deep set him up on high, with his rivers running round about his plants, and sent out her little rivers unto all the trees of the field.
So now it went out. So all of the good waters, came in. Like you could kind of confirm it's like, you kind of think of it as like, say, like let's say, what's the lake? What's the river? The Mississippi River, right?
Okay.
Mississippi River is like a big river.
Right.
And it can have
tributaries.
Have little small tributaries, all of that, just small rivers coming out off of it.
Right.
Right? Keep going.
Khan. Therefore his height was exalted above all the trees of the field, and his bows were multiplied.
So
and
his height, it went above everything. Everything was higher than everybody else because he got all of the nourishment. Keep going.
Khan. And his branches became long. Salakia. And his branches became long because of the multitude of waters when he shot forth.
So now his reach is longer.
Right.
The reach. Okay. Keep going.
Khan. All the fowls of heaven made their nest in his boughs, and under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young.
So now everybody, all of the the beasts of the field, they will come in and take root to get nourishment as well from the tree. See what I'm saying?
Khan.
Go ahead.
Salakia, sir. This being the beast of the field, this verse is, in context, is talking about the other nations, the other people coming to take.
We gotta get to that point, huh? Dang.
Oh, Salakia, Salakia, because I never saw this priest. Okay, Khan, Salakia.
Go ahead.
Salakia.
Gotta get there. Man, somebody calm the brother down. He tried to jump ahead of me, man. Dang.
And under his branches did all the beasts of the field bring forth their young, and under his shadow dwelt all great nations.
All great nations. So this tree, this shows that tree that Adam and Eve was looking at, that tree was looking at all these other nations.
Right.
It wasn't looking at. It wasn't a literal tree.
Right.
It was a spiritual tree.
That's right.
That's where that comes from. So it had all great. It lived all great nations was under this tree. So this tree of good and evil, that's what it was. It was a tree to show what to get with all the other nations, because it looked fair. Just like what did Eve say? They said when she looked at the tree, she said it was the fruit of the tree. It looked good to eat upon. Like it looked good. It was fair branches.
Right.
Right.
Khan.
Go ahead.
And to add to that point, sir, Salakia, is when you said when it hits on the beasts of the field, it talked about the serpent being the most subtle of all the beasts of the field.
God.
So this was a large nation, and this one group, this serpent group or whoever those are the people she kind of,
Yep.
took a liking
That's who
to.
talk to her. Yep.
Khan. And that way they led her to sin. They led her to their customs,
Yep.
their ways,
Exactly.
that she can be like God.
Uh-huh.
Right.
What happens to our women today?
Goddesses.
Exactly. Where you get that from? That comes from Egypt.
Khan.
Right.
That come from it. They don't come from us. They
Right.
come from Egypt and Rome. You don't see nowhere no damn goddesses in here in the Bible.
Right.
Queens, none of that. Like the
Right.
only time it was ever a queen was when they was married to a heathen, like Esther. The only time they had a queen when they was married to a damn heathen. We didn't have queens. Women didn't have power to rule over men. Why don't women have power to rule over men? Go ahead.
Oh, because of Eve. Salaki.
Yeah, we can let somebody on the conference call. Go ahead.
Khan.
Yeah, but I
That's
should
what's up.
checking in.
Oh, Shalom Christ up. Anybody else that Salaki?
Let's go.
I can't hear you. Who was that? Oh, Shalom Christ. Alright. Go ahead.
Lock it out of one.
Yes, so I was going to answer the question.
You want me to answer the question?
Yeah. Give me some scriptures for it.
Slovakia is assert authority over man.
Salaki, sir.
Go ahead.
While he's getting that, because I think we going to different places.
What's up?
Verses. I was gonna use Genesis chapter 3 verse 16 to explain why. Khan, and it says, "Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee."
Yep. He's going to always rule over you.
Khan.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that's part of that too. He's going to rule over you. There is no queens and all of that in Israel because you can't give women that type of power.
Right.
Go to,
Slovakia.
go ahead.
Do you also use 1 Timothy 2 and 12?
What's that say? That sounds familiar.
Want me to bring
Yeah,
it?
go ahead and read it real quick. Let the brother read it here.
Khan. This is the book of 1 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 12.
Uh-huh.
"But I suffer not a woman to teach, nor to usurp authority over the man, but be in silence."
That's part of it. That's Will's part of it. You don't want her to have you don't want her to usurp authority over men. Because she has authority over men. Women don't know how to utilize power well. I mean, have we been shown that? I mean, hell, even Esther, she had the power. What's her name? Begin with an M. Had to tell her how to use the power. Mordecai, Khan, throw out.
Yeah.
Mordecai had to tell her how to use the power. Right? So she didn't know how to use that power.
Right. That's Salakia, sir. It was really Mordecai was being that righteous head over her the whole time.
Exactly.
So, I mean, Esther kind of gets the credit, of course, because she did the deed, but she was just following orders.
Exactly.
The way that she should.
Exactly. She had a wise person over as a head, and he got her He used her to make sure that her people, because he said straight to her face, he checked her. He said, don't think because you living in his house, they ain't gonna come for you too.
Right.
This is an Edomite coming after you.
Right.
That dude, the dude that was trying to kill her, you know what his name was? You know what he was? He was an Agagite.
Agagite. Kind of.
You know what Agag is?
Agag.
Agag was the king that Saul was supposed to kill. He was an Amalek. He was your fake Jew. This your fake Jew right here. This was one of their daddies. See what I'm saying? This is they people. I'm not saying that he's the father of all of them, of course, because that's Amalek. What I'm saying is that he, that's where they come from. He's part of that. So imagine, we probably wouldn't have had as many fake Jews out here.
Right.
We would have wiped out everybody. We wouldn't have had because they came back years later because he took the authority from that damn Edomite, and now that Edomite is coming back trying to kill all of Israel. That's why he had such a beef with Israel, try to destroy them all.
Right.
You ain't gonna learn that in the Christian church.
That's right.
You ain't gonna learn that. He wanted revenge.
Never learn that.
So yeah, I learned that from a brother named Captain Sakawa. He broke that down.
Wow.
Go ahead. Somebody got what's going.
Comment. So I don't want to make such a heavy point. The Bible doesn't show anywhere that a woman has the right to punish a man. And if you also use the story of where the woman was twerking for the king and for his birthday, and she went off her mother to have John the Baptist's head decapitated. The woman, it just shows how a woman is if she had any power. But she still had to use the king, go to the king to have that done for his birthday. It was his birthday.
Yep. So yeah, they're not supposed to have power. Like, our ancestors knew women better than we do. So we can't get these broads power. You get them power, they gonna misuse it, man. You give them power, that's why he said he gonna create enmity between the devil, which is the so-called oppressor, and black women. They're never going to be able to get along. Because he said if you put them two together, they would destroy the earth.
Right.
That's why we notice black women and Caucasian men don't go together that great.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because just think if they did. Just imagine that. We all doomed.
You're right.
Christ will have to come back today.
Right.
Got to stop them, bro. If they got together, that's what happened. That's what he made it say that he would not let them get together like that. That's why you don't see it in mass numbers. It's starting to grow now, but you won't see it in mass numbers because they were destroyed.
Right. Salakia, but I see that a lot in the LGBT community, in terms of the white gay man siding with the black lesbians and things of that nature. They in cahoots with each other.
Yep.
So she's the stronger, or the quote unquote the strength. Right. But he's still the figurehead. He's the whole LGBT community is still run by white gay men.
And how powerful is that movement?
Extremely. It's ridiculous, sir. I
mean, even Dave Chappelle said it. He said black people ain't really mad at the movement. We are, but as far as the everyday black person that's not in the truth, they're not mad about it. They just wonder. Like Dave Chappelle said, he just wonder how they got so much traction so fast.
Right.
He said, like black people. Of course, it was a joke. He said that. He said, damn, all we needed was booty shorts and baby oil. They would have done it. Tried to get some more. Of course, it's a joke. I ain't doing that. I don't know about everybody else, but I ain't doing that, man. But he said that's all he needed to get the movement. He said he would have done it, right?
Right.
You see how that happened. That's why the oppressor women started going when they wanted the feminist movement to go. They teamed up with our sisters.
Right.
They took our sisters from fighting for black rights to go with women's rights, and they still got left out. Still got left out. The women, the Caucasian women got all the rights and the benefits. Our sisters didn't hardly get nothing. The only right the sisters got was to kill their own babies. That's what their right was.
Right.
And kill their own they kill their own babies and birth control. Any way to stop our populations from growing. It's like, the Israelites have surpassed us now. Right? Because they're not aborting their babies. We are. We still aborting our babies at 200 to 400,000 a year. That's a lot of children. We aborting them like by the large numbers. We might actually overtake them if we didn't have these many abortions.
Right.
For real. They ain't number 40%. Like what? It might be a little more. It might be 60. So like maybe 60. They 60%. We might be right on with them. That's why they made all these programs, man. So we could do that. And a lot of them, even the black women, they don't even tell you this. A lot of those same black women that went with the feminist movement is married to Caucasian men.
Right.
Or they be lesbian and married to Caucasian women.
Right.
Look up some of these people, man. Look them up. They was married to Caucasian men. Trying to think of one prominent one. She was married to a Caucasian man. Maya Angelou.
Wow.
Married to a Caucasian man. Black women love her. Right? Love her to death. Married to a whole Caucasian man. And there was other ones too. A lot of them ones that was in the Black Panthers. Married to Caucasian men. Go ahead.
Tina Turner.
Yeah, there you go, Tina Turner.
As we know today, Eve.
Huh?
I said, as we know today, Eve and Fancy off of Jamie Foxx show.
She married to a devil?
Come on.
God damn.
Children and everything.
Dang. She was bad too.
Come
That was a bad little Levite woman right there.
How it cut.
She a Levite.
And yeah, it's some more I can think about.
Yeah, and they get married to heathens, and I bet you go on her Instagram or her Facebook, they full of Christmas stock as hell. They doing that mess everywhere.
Right.
They doing that mess heavy.
Right.
What you gonna say, up?
Salakia, we were just on the LGBT topic just a moment ago, and did you see the chat from last night's class? Okay.
Oh, whatever.
It's somebody's page that says LGBT Hebrew Israelite.
Somebody what?
It's like they trolled it.
It gotta be. But
That's their name?
that's their name. It says LGBT Hebrew Israelite transgender sex.
Good night.
And they were asking, what about John 3:16? John 3:16, Romans 3:23. How can I debate the I.S.U.P.K with the Bible? And they were going in the chat. Hebrew Israelites are not Latino. Just was going ham on Hafiz Mashiala's class last night.
Good night. See, that shows you that they homosexuals in themselves. It just like they don't call. We have the number.
It's right there.
On there.
Right.
They're not going to call.
Right.
And actually have a debate. They're going to go and troll on the thing and to try to say something when nobody knows who they are. So, well, we all know John 3:16 what that means.
Right.
They got it down. They don't even say nothing about homosexuals on this. So what you talking about?
I don't know what they were talking about.
They think that mean everybody in the whole nation, but no, that's specific people. So it's of course we always gotta go to Paul, which Paul ain't talking to you.
Right.
I said all the time, Paul is not talking to you. When he's writing something, this is Commander Yahanna writing to Captain Rataziah, but you only hear what Commander Yahanna is saying. You're not hearing what Captain Rataziah is saying back to him.
Right.
But of course, this with different, schools. But I'm just giving an example. Captain Rataziah. That's what's happening. So Captain Rock Desire said, you know, man, Barack, man, he doing this crazy mess, man. He doing, I'm playing with you. So like, but, you know, he said, this brother, you know, we having this the issues we having. And he's, you know, talking to them, but he's talking because they've had prior conversations.
Right.
So when you're not getting the letters coming back, you're not getting what the problems were. You just only seeing what he's writing to them.
Kind of.
So of course, there's not going to be, you're not going to understand everything 100%. So the only thing you have to do, you have to line it up with the scriptures to make sure that, you know, so they make sure that you're on point. You can't line it up with your mind thing, because the way Paul is writing, he's writing, because, you know, he's writing to people, has to go through Roman, you know, they got their mail system, so has to go through all of that, has to pass through all of that, because I'm sure they were monitoring what he was writing.
Right.
So he has to write things a certain way to get to certain people. So, and then like, you know, I got, you know, you got to think like you got to write a certain way, because you know, Paul was a brother that knew many languages.
Right.
And he knew like the dialects. So he would write things a certain way to go to, you know, the brothers in the South. You know what I'm saying? He'll say, you know, talk to brothers in the Midwest. You gotta know how to talk to the brothers in Jamaica. You know, they talk a whole different type of English.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Haitian, you gotta know how to speak Creole. All of that. He's writing out all these letters to them. And just speaking, you know, like in Creole, they might speak a different language, but they kind of like, whenever you speak like from a certain place, you're like infuse like the language together. So some of the words like that say Creole ain't always French. Right. They know English too. So they would confuse, they would put some of the words. Like one of the brothers told me, like you say, you know, I'm chilling. Like instead of saying they chilling, they'll say they burning. I mean, that mean a different thing when it comes to us, but, right. But that's what they would say. They high, like that mean they cool. Right. You know what I'm saying? That's what they mean when it comes to being Creole. But it's the same similar slang, but you got to change it around to get to them. Right. You want to say something?
Can I just piggybacking off of what you just said, like how Guyanese we say we linemen. So it's like they'd be like, lineman? What do you mean lime? Like a lime, like lemon and lime. We'll say, oh yeah, I lime in. You want to come lime? You know, so it's like you want to come chill. You know, so not knowing what they talk about, you might think they talk about bringing fruit to the house. Because you don't know the context of the conversation.
And certain things you won't know because, you know, we've had prior conversations. Right. So I could bring up something that I know I taught you, and then that's so it makes sense to you, but that would only make sense to you to the full extent because I'm talking to you. So I talk to you one way, I might talk to Barack another. Right. I've been knowing Barack 5, 6 years. You know what I'm saying? I'll talk to you a different way because we don't have the same rapport. Right. You get what I'm saying? Barack, me and him, like I said, we was troopers together. So we could talk, I could talk about certain stuff with him and you'd be like, what the hell are they talking about? Right. So just imagine how it'd be thousands of years later we talking and somebody trying to understand what we saying. You get what I mean? Because a lot of times the Christian church, they don't try to get the context and what was going on in these times. Even try to get an understanding. But the scripture I did want to get was Ecclesiasticus 26:10. Get that for me real quick.
Slovakia 26.
Yep. And 10.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 26 and verse 10. If thy daughter be shameless.
That means shameless. That means she ain't got no shame. Right. She don't care what she do. Keep going.
If thy daughter be shameless, keep her in straitly.
That means lock her down. Don't let her, you know, just lock her in. You know what I'm saying? Could make her, you know, what they call like a lock and key kid or what they call it?
Lock and key?
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about?
Chastity belt type?
Not necessarily that, but they call it like, what they call it, like a key, like it's like a word they got a term for it. where like they just keep them inside the house, right? Keep going.
Right. Slakia, lest she abuse herself through overmuch liberty.
No overmuch liberty. You give a woman that's shameless all the liberty that she wants, she will abuse herself.
Right.
That's what you see going on now.
Right.
Women these days, they don't have no shame. They done got rid of all of the shame that you can have. They getting rid of all of it. It is literally like, I remember like growing up in the 90s and early 2000s, women like, I mean, it wasn't nothing to meet a woman that was a virgin at 18 or 20 years old, right? To hear a woman being like a literal virgin,
Right.
you know what I'm saying, at 18, 20 years old. I'm not saying it was all the time, but it wasn't like now, boy, you can't find one. Like, you know, or you might find a chick, you know, that might be 18. Even when I was like 18, you'll meet a chick, she might have only had one boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? That she only had one person that she laid with.
Right.
And nowadays, these 18-year-old, I'm talking about, boy, she got Christopher Columbus body. she got millions, boy. They've been up in there. I'm surprised it still operate like it's supposed to.
Voyages.
You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Right.
Like right now, the women is outpacing the men.
Right.
And I'm not like, usually, of course, you have a whore that might outpace men, but I'm saying an average woman, an average man, same age, she outpacing him like nothing. Probably 3-1. It is that bad.
Right.
Come.
That bad. They have no shame. And then in America, they've been given so much liberty. Like, you know, you can do whatever you want. You got abortions. You got birth control. You got all these things that make it so that you don't have to have there's no shame of it. Like, you remember when even Joseph, when he got Mary pregnant, it was gonna be a shameful thing for him to be walking around. He got this Levite woman pregnant, right? It was a shameful thing, right? And then they didn't even go through the ceremony.
Right.
They do none of that. It was a shameful thing. So he was about to do like they did, you know, back in the days. If a woman got pregnant, they sent her down south. I remember that, right? Am I?
You're calm.
Okay, I ain't think, you know, I thought I was old enough in there. You know what I'm saying? I thought maybe you know what I'm saying? I remember it. I remember my cousin, first time she got pregnant. I seen her, this was when we was in church, she was crying her eyes out. She found out she got pregnant. And this was probably 2006, 2005. They ain't crying no more.
Right.
They don't have no shame about being pregnant no more. This is about 15 years ago. They don't have no shame. You got women going around right now with 7, 8 kids by 10 different dudes trying to tell you can't have 2 wives. What sense the hell do that make?
Right.
Well, 7, 8 kids talking about they got a list of standards.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, I seen this before. Got a list of standards. Men gotta make this amount. I'm talking about ridiculous standards. They want a man 6 feet tall. I'm like, you that shows you don't understand men. I'm just being for real. If you a man in the world and you got 100,000, you're making, you know, over $100,000 a year, and you got choices on women, why you gonna choose the woman that's 39 with 8 kids?
Right.
Does that make sense to y'all?
Awesome.
So why are they having all these demands? Because they got too much liberty. They feel as though because they feel like they can make men conform to what they want.
Right.
But that's never gonna happen, right? But yeah, they'll go. I've seen it. I'm like, this is crazy. And that one chick, Kendra G, she be posting a lot of like women. They'll go on her show on YouTube, and they'll go in there and talk about all of the, you know, what they want, and she'll put like, this is some, you know, this is a person here that got such and such, and such and such, you know, kids or whatever she got. That's what she looking for, and she'll post them out there, and it'll be some. Boy, it'd be some funny stuff out there. One chick I seen on there, that I ain't trying to go too off, but she trying to find her a man but the dude she was just, just sleeping with, just walked through the damn background of the screen.
Slocky, I seen that.
And she looking like was that the, and she cause she always asks, "When's the last time you been intimate?" She like last night, and she all of a sudden somebody just walked in her background. She was like, "Who was that?" And she was like, "How you gonna be trying to say you looking for a dude, and you got one in the background?"
Right.
You're like, "That's messy." She like, "That's trifling." The chick was even so mad. The chick that did it, Kendra, she was so mad she had to end the show early. She was pissed off. What does this say? No shame.
No shade.
She just destroyed herself.
Right.
That's what she's doing, destroying herself. Do so much living. So that's why they take away the shame from the women, man. All right. All right, let's go back here. I mean, we got scriptures all over the place, man. Go to 1 King, chapter 11 for me.
Come. We'll take it from the top.
Yeah, come.
Come. This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 1. But King Solomon loved many strange women.
Many. Keep going.
Together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites.
So he had the daughter of Pharaoh, right? So when he got wealthy, he went and got him a Hamite woman.
Right.
It's like going to get him. They said when the Kanye West he get him leave you for a white girl. Yep. That's what he did. This the Pharaoh of Egypt.
Right.
So this is who he got.
Come. With the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites.
So hold on, let me get there with you real quick. 1 Kings chapter 11. So Pharaoh, Moabites, that's your Chinese. Ammonites, your Japanese. Edomites, your oppressor. Keep going.
Zidonians,
I believe that's an African, somewhere in Africa. Hittites.
and Hittites. Come.
I think Hittites is I gotta look that up.
Ham as well. Salaki.
Huh?
I believe they're Ham as well.
I can't remember. But yeah, Hittites. They may be him. I'm not sure. I know I think they found they kingdom at some point. They found their kingdom. They didn't know where they were, but they found their kingdom. I'm trying to see who they all came from. Any of y'all got the Bible dictionary?
There's one in the back. Salaki.
Yeah, see if we can find that. I just like to notice, I like to go and know something, because it gives you more context of it.
Salaki, sir, is it up there?
Huh?
In that stack right
It might be. So we got this thing was over here.
Come. The Zondervan is at the bottom of that.
Okay.
Throw it, sir.
See if we can find out where they are.
Come.
Alright. So he took on many lovers, right? Alright. Let's see. He took on cause you know how even nowadays men that got money or whatever, you want to have like an exotic woman. Look at what's her name? Chris Brown and Carucci. Now I think she actually is a Judite, I believe, but her mom is fully Asian. So one of them denominations somewhere in there. But her mom, she looked like a heathen. They look exotic to us, right? But we start wanting to get exotic women. So that's anybody in power start wanting to get some exotic. I think, what's his name? Young Jeezy, he got an exotic chick. You know what I'm saying? What he considers exotic. You know what I mean?
Salaki, I think he got a Moabite.
I believe so, yeah.
Have the NFL and NBA.
Right.
There you go.
You already know.
There you go.
And Salaki, sir.
Yep.
They're from Ham.
Ham, all right, there you go.
I can read it here if you would like.
Oh, that's tough. I always want to know where
Come.
they was from.
They're Ham.
Okay,
They're
okay.
Hamites.
So that's other Africans, right?
Right.
Um,
And you said you wanted me to also look up the Zidonians?
you can. This who they are. Just to let
Come.
you know. So we always try to get context. We're in the Christian church, so we get context.
Right.
We want to know who they all are. So these Africans. I'm pretty sure the Zidonians is Africans. I'm pretty sure of that. But he started loving the African women. Even Ludacris got him African women.
What? Tuxedo?
Huh?
So like that tuxedo with a tuxedo with a she African hand?
Ancient Phoenicians.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, well, I don't know how to say her name.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
tuxedo.
she African.
Yeah, that's not a regular Judite name, though.
It ain't, it's African.
Nah, she's light skinned too. You know?
Yeah, I know, yeah, you got a whole ham sandwich.
So like
A ham sandwich, that's unclean to you, so you ain't supposed to be with that ham anyway. But yeah, he got him a whole Hamite.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of times they'll go with Hamites because they'll feel as though they're better than our women. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna tell you, when you learn how to make your woman, like get to your woman, and you can conquer that woman, ain't nothing better than a damn Israelite woman. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Right.
So, you find out yet?
Khan, they were ancient Phoenicians. So Salaki, that would be Ham as well, wouldn't it? Phoenician, the ancient Phoenician city in Lebanon, Salakia, it was a Canaanite city.
Okay. Canaanites, you gotta watch them because they most of them are African,
Right.
but some of them mixed in with them Ishmael.
And Salakia,
Go ahead.
I didn't know this. It says the father of Jezebel was a king of Sidon.
There you go. Yeah, I know. I think she was a Hamite too. And
Right.
That was another thing that we was doing. We was getting with because we was all people in that nation, so we would get somebody from everywhere. So it wouldn't just be like, everybody was there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, I think you had Africans, you had Asians, and you had our oppressors that was there. All of them was there. So we would, get involved with all of them. The Canaanites especially, really with them because they was real weird. Like the Canaanites, they followed us so heavily. Like those people, I think they called like the Limba tribe.
Okay.
Over there in they down I think in South Africa, I believe.
Okay.
Those, if I'm not mistaken, I think the general said that those are your Canaanites. There's a Limba tribe down there, and they follow our old customs. You know what I'm saying? They follow a lot of our old customs, and those were the Limba people, and they said those were Canaanites. That's why we see them. They look like a lot of them look like Africans mixed up with Middle Eastern.
Salakia.
Go ahead.
You said the Limba or the
Lemba.
Lemba? Khan. That's Zimbabwe and South Africa. Khan.
There you go. So that's what That's if I believe. If I remember correctly, those
right.
They were. That's what the Canaanites. They're Canaanites. So like I said, they follow us very closely. So you would always see a lot of us get involved with Canaanites, and whether it be business or personal, because they were like right there trying to. They was like our BITCHs in a way. So
right.
they whatever we did.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Is it something like somebody called like a Bantu tribe that be trying to follow, like trying to use our customs too? Is that sound familiar?
Yeah, I think the Bantu they do, but I'm not sure if they called them the Canaanites as well. But yeah, the Bantu they try to copy a lot of us too. A lot of people try to copy us. So same with some people, the Igbo, they try to copy us too. So a lot of them. Now I've been told by generals there is some remnants of Israelites there. Like I brought it out in class before, that there's still beef in Africa with the people they took us from.
Right.
Like they got like little settlements in Africa. Now you're not gonna hear about it. They still beefing with the governments and all the powers there. They still fighting over. They don't like each other. They don't mess with each other.
Right.
So those are possibly more our people than somebody else, than like the Limba or something like that.
Right.
They're more than likely our people, more highly, feel like that. Of course, we gotta do the research, and we gotta let the the generals make the final decision on that. You know what I'm saying? They gonna do the real homework, the investigation. They know how to investigate it.
Right.
I was just bringing out knowledge that there still is beef there. They don't like each other.
Right.
They trying to fight for rights over there. You don't even hear about that. They ain't gonna tell you nothing about it because they don't like us. So, I'm gonna see if I can find some of those, I'm gonna see if I can find videos of that too. All right, Shwai was about to say something. Was that it? Is that all you were saying, or you had something else? You said about the Bantu. That was it?
Yes, I'm at work too, so I might be coming in and out. But yeah, I'm in there.
Okay. All right. But yeah, you ain't supposed to never mess with them people there. All right, now keep going.
Salaki. Verse 2. Salaki. This is the book of 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 2.
Mm-hmm.
Of the nations concerning which Yahweh said unto the children of Israel,
Mm-hmm.
Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you.
So he's saying this is the law. You should not go in unto them. That means you should not marry them, and they should not marry into you.
Right.
Keep going.
Come. For surely they will...
Wait, read that part again.
For surely...
Surely. So this is not a maybe. This is not if you were a strong man. This ain't, well, I tell them what to do.
Right.
There's none of that. Keep going.
For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods.
After they gods. See how that happened?
Come.
You can even go back to the garden right there. Eve, she basically took in another lover when she let that person from another nation come in unto her. He basically, because she stopped going, whenever a woman starts taking advice or something from another man, she has made herself a whore.
Right.
Maybe not a whore physically, but damn sure a whore spiritually. Right? And that's the same way the Most High says what we have became whores, because we've taken other nations, other gods.
Right.
So he compares us as being like Israel as being his wife, and him being the husband, and we've gone after other lovers. That's the same thing as if your wife start listening to your wife start listening to the damn preacher when she listen to you, she's taking on another lover.
Right.
See what I'm saying?
Come.
That's why even here we're getting counsel. Women have to get counsel a certain way. Counsel is done a certain way. If you get what I'm saying. Because because the generals they don't want your women to be going around listening to them more than you listen to you. That ain't supposed to happen.
Right.
Shit, you supposed to be a general in your house. They
Right.
ain't with that. Right?
Come.
Keep reading.
Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines. And his wives turned away his heart.
Yep, and his wives turned away his heart. That's why he say you're not supposed to multiply so many wives until you that you stop following, stop serving the Most High.
Right.
And that's what he did. He multiplied so many unto him. See, Solomon probably didn't need all the wives. He was trying to keep trust, because women, me and the brother was talking a couple weeks ago. We said women, they are masters of psychological warfare. Every woman is psychologically equipped to bring warfare on her man. And most men are not prepared for it. Right?
Right.
Because she uses all types of tricks, deception, like that 48 laws of power. She knew that from birth.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? She didn't have to read that. Men got to read that to understand what this broad is doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You see all of that? Man, man, she did this yesterday. You know what I'm saying? You got to read all this to learn what they do, man.
Right.
Because, you know, we're not men, because there's a thing, like women, they can't protect themselves physically. So the only thing they can use is mental, you know, games and trickery. They can't, like me, if me and you have an issue, why are we trying to outsmart each other? We could just
Swap it out.
you know, just go at it, right?
Okay.
May the best man win.
Okay.
And that's it. But if you notice a weaker man, he always got to try to outsmart somebody. That's why our oppressor, he's always, he's the one that's bringing out psychological warfare. Then if you notice, Israelites, they not trying to do no psychological warfare. Only people that's masters psychological warfare is the oppressor. That's because he's a weaker man. Weaker in mind and weaker in spirit. He's a weaker man. That's why even in the Bible it says, when you have your enemy, when you go and you look around, when all the hell comes loose, then you gonna find him right there. Because he's using all these tricks to bring you under. He's gonna use all those tricks. Right? That's why he's the snake. He's gonna be low to the ground where you don't see him, and then before you know it, you got bit. And you poison now. Before you even know it. That's why they call them snakes. That's why they say compare them with a snake, because he low down. Down low to the earth where you don't see him. When you least suspect, he bites you.
Right.
That's why they call them, they said they spoke with a forked tongue. Forked tongue, like I said, snakes is spiritually known to be liars. So spiritually, of course. You know what I'm saying? So that's why they compared them to that. All right, keep going.
Verse 4. For it came to pass, when Solomon was old, that his wives turned away his heart after other gods.
Yeah, but that's another thing. As you get older, your mind becomes weaker. You don't want to deal with stress as much as you get older. So as he got older, all the women turned his heart.
Right.
Keep going.
And his heart was not perfect with Yahweh his God, as was the heart of David his father.
So he didn't have his heart perfect with the Most High. Did David mess up? Yeah, David messed up when he took that one brother's wife. He messed up. But guess what? What did David do?
Repented.
Exactly. He said, when what's the name? Samuel came up to him and gave him it might not have been Samuel. I think Samuel passed.
I think it was.
So it was the next person under Samuel. I think it might have been Nathan. I think it might have been Nathan. If I'm not mistaken. So I think Samuel passed when King Saul was ruling. So when he did that with David, and he brought him a whole story saying about this rich man. You know, he had everything. He took a poor man. He had one lamb or sheep or something like that, and it was this great honor that he had. And that poor man took it from that rich man took it from that poor man. And David jumped. He got on his high horse, about to go and said, "Let's go find him and do something." And he said, "You that rich man."
Right.
Pointed right at him. And he was, what he say? "You right. I did that."
Right.
So he only had to deal with the punishment of that. Their firstborn child being killed, dying. That was his punishment. People make mistakes, but the point is you stop. Even David, he made the mistake of counting his men. Right? And he seen thousands of his warriors die. He made mistakes.
Right.
But at the end of his days, he kept his mind perfect on what the Most High is.
Right.
So yeah, he made a couple mistakes. But the one thing he did not do was, like I said, You didn't serve other gods.
That's right. That's right.
You start serving other gods. Ooh-wee. It seems like God, he can forgive you doing like all the other abominations almost. I'm not saying do it, of course.
Right.
But it's like he can forgive that. But if you start serving another God, that's like, I'm done with you.
God. It's real heavy what you're saying, because like how you said, Israel was likened to a wife and the Most High being the husband.
Mm-hmm.
It's imagine any kind of mistake that your rib can make.
Mm-hmm.
She burnt the food. She didn't sew the kids' clothes properly. She fucked up on a bill, Salakia. She didn't pay it on time or something. You can forgive all of those. But if she went and laid with another man,
Yep. That's it.
over with. Salakia.
You're gonna look at her as being a disgusting beast. And here's the bad part. Here's the thing that you don't even understand with it. And it's the same way with us. If the Most High didn't punish us, we would look at him as weak.
Right.
And the same thing if you took back that woman that she laid with another man, she ain't gonna treat you better. Like you would think, like men, we think, like, okay, if you do something wrong to me and I show you grace and mercy, that would implore you to show it upon me and treat me better. Women are not like that.
Right.
At all.
Right.
She gonna treat you worse than she did. And guess what she's gonna do? She's gonna whore on you again. May not be today, might not be tomorrow, but I guarantee you she's gonna do it again. Women ain't capable of loving and respecting more than one man that she loved, like, and being with. She can't do that. If your woman that you lay with right now, she go and sleep with another man, she don't love and respect you no more. You as a man, you could go smash a chick right now. It don't feel no different about your wife.
Right.
You might actually love her more.
Like that wasn't hitting.
Huh?
God, like that wasn't even hitting like that.
And that's what I'm saying. You might, that wasn't even all that great. You go back home and be like, yo, I'm so glad I got you, baby.
Right.
Women are not like that. She gonna come back and, man, I done heard some stories. Women literally laying with a dude and talking to their dude while she getting pounded out. That is disgusting. That shows she ain't got no respect for you.
Right.
If she on the phone with you, man, out like in the world, if you doing that, just don't answer the damn phone. That's a whole different level of disrespect. Just don't answer the damn phone. You gonna talk to me? While you getting pounded out by another man?
Good night.
Talking about I love you? What? And what did it say? She would destroy herself. And she gets shameless, she would destroy herself for over having too much freedom, too much liberty.
Right.
She would destroy herself. And she thinks she's being smart. She thinks she's doing something right. That man that's piping her, you know what he's saying to himself? That's all you good for. He ain't gonna be with you.
Right.
Because he gonna be the last nigga that's gonna be over here talking to his woman about he love her and she getting pounded out. He ain't gonna be with you.
Right.
The woman loses. She destroys herself. She destroying her whole soul, her spirit doing that. Because even though the man might not know, she gonna know she did it. She gonna know she disgusting. That's why even nowadays with a woman, you realize women, they sabotage good relationships. You realize that, right?
Right.
Because they know how disgusting they been. See?
Come.
That's the truth.
Come.
The truth, goddammit. That's the truth. You know, the I.S.U.P.K, she know how disgusting she's been. So that's why when it comes to even a relationship, she feel like she don't deserve it. Because she's disgusting. She's destroyed herself. The scripture said she destroys herself doing all these things when she get too much freedom. And she's been shameless. So that's why you wonder why these women you go out here and talk to, you think you being a good man to them. They don't want that. They want somebody to beat the hell out of them. And then their women, that's the hardest thing I always thought was funny. the people that beat women ain't never got a problem having a damn woman.
Right.
Have you noticed that? Right, you notice that?
Well, I definitely noticed that. That's it's like that's a requirement for a certain type of woman anyway.
Good.
They feel like you don't love them if you ain't never
You beat the hell out of
blue
them.
face and got a toxic relationship and it's not on one side of the head.
That's the one thing you never notice. You always notice. That's one thing you always notice. They don't ever have a problem having a woman. Men that beat women. My uncle was one of them. He always had plenty women. Plenty.
You know the word that got out.
Huh?
I say you know the word that got out. They ain't stopped no show.
Right.
And
Right.
They lining up more.
Right.
Trying to tell you.
I can't do it.
Just being honest with you. But I mean, y'all are like, you see men that were sick. They can't get no women. And they go treat a woman, they gonna treat her like she a goddess. She don't even want that.
Right.
Yeah, all the shit, the chivalry's not dead. Them guys
Mm-hmm.
trying to bring chivalry back. They had the body. They may get a woman eventually with time. But them boys in the low toe pole for real.
Yeah, they doing that, trying to bring flowers to the first date.
Open the door.
Right.
What's up? Good morning, Queen.
The women they trying to do that for is getting pounded out at the bottom of the staircase. And I'm not making this up. This is literal.
God, oh God.
Like it ain't happened to me, but I've heard stories.
Right.
A woman that they thought men you've been raised by a woman, so you think a lot of men been raised by women. You think higher of women until you find out they is disgusting. You be like, man, the woman I thought was all this great was getting pounded out at the bottom of the staircase. At the bottom of the staircase. And she making me work and take her out on 15 dates before I get some. But some dude here, he just pounding her out on the bottom of the staircase. Right? Because she don't want a good relationship. She wants toxicity. She wants a man to treat her like she ain't nothing.
Right.
They love that. That's why you don't see that many women in here. But where do you see them at? The Christian church. Oh my God. They love the Christian church. And you know what they do over there? Share their husband.
They definitely doing that.
Just not openly. The pastor, you think he ain't smashing up your wife? He's effing your wife. Better believe it. He's effing your wife at the Christian church. Somebody is.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the dude with like 10 kids, 5 baby mamas. He'll still get with a chick, but a Nick Cannon who's purposely like letting the women know, like, you know what I mean, I'm trying to have babies and stuff. Like, he gonna get out of now. They hate that. They hate that boy Nick Cannon. They trying their best to counsel him. He
They trying their
did
hardest.
something to them.
Yeah, he trying his hardest. And I mean, don't get me wrong, he a brother in the world, but it's like they all know what he got. And they trying to destroy him. Like his brother said, they try to destroy him. They try to say, why he over there having all these women? Why he feel like he can have all these women? But then at the same time, women always want to say, well, if you can afford to have more than one woman, Nick Cannon can afford it.
Right.
So it's like, what's the common sense?
Right.
And then they want to, I can go on this forever.
Right.
Stupid women, I can go on this forever. I'm gonna say one more thing and I'm gonna go back to the topic. And I can talk, this could be a whole other class.
Right.
But one thing I was even saying one time, I was saying that like, the first thing you want to say is, how can he be there for the kids if he has so many kids? They don't give a damn about them kids.
Right.
Since when do men and women care? Since when do black women? Now, I'm not talking about your particular situation. I'm talking about a lot of these black women, a large proportion of them. Since when do they care about the man spending time with their kids, with the kids? They don't.
Right.
What's the first thing they want? Child support.
Money. Right.
Am I wrong? Do they fight more for child support or for them to visit them?
The former.
Exactly. Child support. So
Right.
where's this? They ain't gonna have time to spend with all these kids. They don't give a damn about them kids. Never had. So, all right, keep going on First Kings.
Come. This is the book of 1 Kings, chapter 11, and verse 5. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians.
Anybody know where Astor is now?
Salaki, is that Ishtar? Easter?
Yep, here you go, Easter. Keep going.
Come. Of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abomination of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of Yahweh, and went not fully after Yahweh as David his father, as did David his father.
Molech, I think Moloch is like a little bit of I gotta confirm this, but I think Moloch is where they get like Krampus from. Yeah, like with Christmas, Krampus.
Oh, okay.
If you ever look, they look very similar. So if I gotta confirm, but I think that's where they go from. So, and that's part of being with the Christmas celebration. Krampus, if I'm not mistaken, Moloch is kind of like became the opposite of like if you be evil, you get the cold. That's kind of like that story got kind of more lost. Like I'm not saying like you can't find it, but I mean it doesn't get celebrated as much.
Right.
You don't talk about that, but that's kind of like the lump of coal that you may get.
Okay.
It's kind of that, but it's more to it that Krampus would do with bad children, that they would tell they do to bad children.
Okay.
But that was just, that part got kind of left out because, even the story of St. Nicholas was a book, like that came out like in the 1800s, and all of the elves and all of that. Like I think St. Nicholas might have been around, but all of the elf that they had, it wasn't like all the reindeer and all of this living in the North Pole.
Mm-hmm.
That was a children's story. That was in like the 1800s.
Wow.
So that just became, but then this story of Moloch and I think he eventually became Krampus, and then Krampus and that story got kind of lost over time. Like I said, not lost, but just not celebrated. The celebration of it stopped over time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Come.
All right, keep going. Because they both got like, it's like a goat with horns and
Right.
goat's feet, but if you look both of them, they look very similar. So, and then stories transfer over time, because
Right.
people would make like the whole story of heaven and hell, of course, comes from a story. It's called Dante's Inferno.
Right.
It's like an epic. That's like Planet of the Apes type thing. That's what an epic is. It's like 3 stories of something, an epic. Like you travel into this world and like Planet of the Apes, Hunger Games. That's what it was.
Right.
But it was just told in written format, or they might have had plays for it. You know what I'm saying? Because of course they didn't have movies, special
Right.
effects. 200-300 years ago, they didn't
Right.
have these things. So it would just be like a written story or or like they because we had theater. You know what I'm saying? We had theaters. So we had always had that because we had entertainment. But that's where that became. All right, go ahead.
Salakia. Verse 6. And Solomon did evil. Oh, Salakia. Verse 7. Then did Solomon build an high place for Chemosh,
Kamash.
mm-hmm. the abomination of Moab, in the hill that is before Jerusalem, and for Molech, the abomination of the children of Ammon.
So you start building monuments to these guys. So he was full on. He was full into it. You know what I'm saying? Just him posting them Christmas pictures on Instagram.
Yeah. Right.
Let me know. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's what I follow. Keep going.
Salakia, verse 8. And likewise did he for all his strange wives, which burnt incense and sacrificed unto their gods.
So he did all of them for strange wives. He made temples and other figurines or statues, something in tribute to them. Keep going. Go ahead.
Oh, Salakia, sir. It's like you said he would be taking the Christmas picture with his Edomite wife, and then you would see him doing the fast or whatever with his Ishmaelite wife,
Yep.
and then he'll be doing Dolly and all that stuff with his Elamite wife, and
Yep.
have the powder and shit on him, doing that, so he's taking all of these
Yep.
snapshots basically. He's doing
exactly.
all of this stuff for each individual wife after
Yep.
their gods and their traditions.
Yeah, this is the same. This is Instagram for thousands of years ago.
Right.
So this is what we like I said, none of the stuff existed at that time. So that's what they did.
Khan.
Keep going.
Khan. Verse 9. And Yahweh was angry with Solomon, because his heart was turned from Yahweh, God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice.
If you see like the Lord God, that usually means like the Most High Power. Just so you know. Go ahead.
Khan. And he commanded him concerning this thing, that he should not go after other gods, but he kept not that which Yahweh commanded.
Well, like I said, that shows you we are stubborn people. God came up to him twice. And he said, you know what, I ain't gonna believe in that. So you think if these heathens really came up, and God came up to them, they would follow? Like God even said that. He even said that if he had told the heathens they were his people, they would have believed him. Look at the whole Islam movement. Muhammad lied and said that Gabriel came to him. And he wrote a whole damn book about all of this BS. Excellent toilet paper, but they love it, right?
Right.
They keep talking about all the wisdom. I have yet to see any wisdom to come out the damn Quran.
Right.
Have y'all? I'm serious. I've been battling people that believe in Islam, Muslims, and for like a long time. I have not seen any wisdom come out of the Quran. And I'm gonna tell you something. You know what two books I've seen got the most wisdom in it? Wisdom of Solomon and Ecclesiasticus.
Right.
They would. I'm sorry. I like Proverbs and I like Ecclesiastes, but they ain't got nothing on them two.
Right.
Salakia.
Facts.
They ain't got those two books right there. Got some wisdom in it, right? And I man, the Quran can't even touch those.
That's why I named my son Sirach, because it's also known as the wisdom of Sirach.
God, I got you. What's that? I know.
Ecclesiasticus.
No, I know, but what's Sirach mean?
Sir. It's wise one, wisdom,
Okay.
something like that. It's really more popular in African culture, so I just did it based on who he was in the scripture. He was the one who gave Yahushua the information. But that it's not the same Jesus that did the miracles and everything, but that's the son who wrote his father's wisdom down. His name was Jesus. It's all in the prologue for Ecclesiasticus, how it worked out.
Oh yeah, because it was other people named Jesus.
Right.
Jesus
right.
is just Joshua.
Joshua.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Because you can even go in the book of Acts, they talking about Joshua and they say Jesus.
Right.
So that's
Right.
all. That's all the same. It's Jesus. You'll see it several times.
Right.
Yahushua, that's a common name.
Right. And that's who wrote it was his son, Sirach's son, who wrote his father's wisdom.
Yeah, I think I did see that. Just some things you forget over time.
Right. It's just a prologue, so it's like you can't really go to this verse and chapter, so it's just that big first paragraph.
I think I remember that too.
Kind of.
But yeah, Sirach. But I know that's typically not a. I don't think I've seen anybody in I.S.U.P.K named that, because I know they, and over there in the fake Israelite groups, they call the Ecclesiasticus the Book of Sirach.
Right. So
we don't do that, just so you know. We don't do that. We call it
right.
Ecclesiasticus. But yeah, I haven't heard of a brother. It might be. I just haven't heard of a brother being named that. But Sirach. Yeah, I mean it's.
And Salaki, it would actually be a more Greek transliteration of the original Hebrew. Yeah. So this is before I knew,
Yeah, of course.
So that's why even his middle name is Moshe instead of Masha. Mm-hmm. You see, so I know now.
Yeah. I was before.
Next time,
right.
That's the one.
I got it next time.
There's a brother in the school named after a tribe member, probably because I think his parents he was like that. So that's that's his slave name.
Right. So like both of my sons all have quote unquote Hebrew names, but it's the English transliteration of it. So I got Gabriel Andrew, and then I have Matthew Emmanuel. So it's just, I ain't know.
I got you. Tested it up.
And then Sirach Moshe, right. Moshe, Sirach.
Moshe.
Right.
That's a little one?
Right. The baby is Sirach. And now I really like Gabe's name from before, because, Gabriel. But now Gabar Ya'ala, that sounds hard.
That's a warrior name.
Right.
Gabar.
That's what it means, you know what I mean? Like
Gabar.
Gabar Ya'ala, like that's a hard name.
That's what I think Tazai named this son, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Ain't that right?
I'm not sure exactly.
I think it's Gabar Ya'ala. I know it's Gabar. I just don't know if it's Gabar Ya'ala.
Okay.
But yeah, Gabar, yeah. That's the name. That means warrior.
Right.
Yep. What does Ya'ala mean?
Salakia, I believe it's of God.
No, Am powers. Yah is Am. Allah powers. Barak Ya'ala. So the Barak, I'm blessed powers. So the Barak is blessed, and then of course the Yah is Am. Allah is powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it must be like a powerful warrior.
Right.
So yeah. Gabar Ya'ala. Powerful warrior.
Right.
Yep. And that's what Gabriel means, powerful warrior. So, all right, keep reading on that for me.
Khan. Verse 11. Wherefore Yahweh said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my covenant and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding.
You see that? He said, I'll take it from you and give it to your servant. Who was his servants? He had Edomites as servants, right?
Right.
He had all people that was his servants.
Right.
All these other heathens. He had many servants. So we're going to take it from him and give it to his servants.
Right.
Because remember, this is after the statement was made that there was no more slaves of the children of Israel.
Right.
So it's not going. This like when he said he was going to give it to. I think he said the same thing. It might be the same exact words he said to Saul. He meant David, right?
Right.
But no, he meant he's going to your slaves now.
Right.
Your slaves. That's the same way in that scripture where he said he saw he seen the princes walking on the ground while the slaves riding on the horses.
Right.
Because the prince that riding on the horse is supposed to be the prince.
Right.
The slave's supposed to be walking. Right?
Right.
So that's what he said. You're gonna give that kingdom over to your slaves.
Right.
Keep going.
Come. Verse 12. Notwithstanding, in thy days I will not do it for David thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of the hand of thy son.
So he said, I'm not gonna do it in your days. I'm not gonna do it in your time.
Right.
Because of your father's sake.
Right.
But your son is gone.
Right.
All right, so keep going.
Verse 13. Howbeit, I will rend away all the kingdom. But
He said, I will not. I will not.
Oh,
rend.
Salakia. Howbeit, I will not rend away all the kingdom, but will give one tribe to thy son for David my servant's sake, and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. He was the king's seed in Edom. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was gone up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom.
So Hadad, he rose up another enemy. And of course, you know, the one person he always gonna see it to spite us, to smite us, when we start saying it, is the oppressor.
Right.
He said he was an Edomite, Hadad. See if we can find out his lineage, if we can, real quick. Can you give it to Barack real quick? Let's see if we can look real quick. So you can read it for me?
Salakia, Hadad, they say Hadad the Edomite.
Yeah, but see if we can find out what is, like, where he, see who was, I mean, I know he's an Edomite, but I'm saying, like.
Who was his father?
Yeah.
Who that?
Hadad, H-A-D-A-D.
H-A-E?
H-A-D-A-D.
D-A-D.
H-A and put dad.
Yeah, like ha.
Ha dad. You going?
Come. Verse 16. For 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel, until he had cut off every male in Edom.
So he had to get rid of all of the males there.
Right.
Right? So that seed would no longer keep going.
That Hadad fled, and Salakia, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt, Hadad being yet a little child.
So yeah, it was certain Edomites of his servants, they took him into Egypt. So
Right.
Keep going.
And they arose out of Midian, and came to Paran. And they took men with them out of Paran, and they came to Egypt, unto Pharaoh king of Egypt, which gave him an house, and appointed him victuals, and gave him land.
Okay. Look up Victor. I'll go look it up real quick.
Victuals?
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Kind
I knew what it meant, but I can't remember.
Right, it's like stuff, food.
I think so. I want to be sure.
Right, kind of.
Yeah, food, supplies, provisions.
Right.
All right. He gave him victuals and gave him land. So he came, you know, doing good, right?
Kind of.
He gave him a house and all of that stuff, right?
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 19. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of Pharaoh, so that he gave him to wife the sister of his own wife, the sister of Tabernacles, the queen.
Keep going.
And the sister of Tabernacles bare him Genubath, his son, whom Tabernacles weaned in Pharaoh's house.
Okay. Keep going.
And Genubath was in Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. And when Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his fathers,
That means David passed.
and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, let me depart, that I may go to mine own country.
So when you start taking in these other gods, there's going to be a son born that you don't even know of. Right? This is like what they would call like the Antichrist in a way. When Christians think of it, you think of it as being the Antichrist. But no, there's many Antichrists.
Right.
So when you start sinning, Antichrist starts sprouting up. And they're going to be born. They're going to be your adversary.
Right.
Keep going.
Verse 22. Then Pharaoh said unto him, but what hast thou lacked with me, that behold, thou seekest to go to thine own country? And he answered, Nothing. And he answered, Nothing. Howbeit, let me go in any wise.
Yeah, they just let me go over there, right?
Period. Right.
Keep going.
Come. Verse 23. And God stirred him up another adversary, Rezon, the son of Eliada, which fled from his land,
From his Lord.
From his lord Hadadezer, king of Zobah. And he gathered men unto him and became captain over a band. When David slew them of Zobah.
So David already took them out.
Right.
So now he getting other adversaries that it was even taken care of. They was already destroyed.
Right.
Keep going.
And they went to Damascus and dwelt therein and reside and reigned in Damascus.
Keep going.
And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did, and he abhorred Israel and reigned over Syria.
So he hated
Right.
Israel. They hated Israel because let me tell you something about these heathens. You forgive the heathens. They don't forgive you.
Right.
If you took them over, smited them, they don't forgive you. They ain't forgive Osama bin Laden.
Right.
Hell, I saw the other day a brother that had a learning disability. They say he stole a bike, right? A bike. And this devil had his hand around his throat. He was visibly, mentally, disabled. Like you can tell within the first, a sentence of him speaking.
Right.
But his hand is on his throat. They don't forgive you for nothing.
Right.
They get their vengeance. They don't forgive you. Why do black people forgive them and want to lay with them? You know what I'm saying? We start thinking of them as being fair. And that's what we got to get out of, man. Ain't nothing fair about it. Every time you see a devil, you should think they coming to oppress me. That's what they trying to do. All right? Think of something on the bring out. What verse was you at?
Salakia, sir, that was verse 26 I just
26,
read.
okay.
25.
25, okay. All right. Go to Okay, so just to go into it, he put Jeroboam over the house of Joseph, right?
Right.
And he it was a garment he had. They put it in 12 pieces, and he gave to Jeroboam 10 pieces, and he said, "You're going to rule the 10 other tribes." So that's where the kingdom is splitting. All right. Now go to 34.
Come. Verse 34. Howbeit, I will not take the whole kingdom out of his hand, but I will make him prince all the days of his life for David my servant's sake, whom I chose, because he kept my commandments and my statutes. But I will take the kingdom out of his son's hands, and will give it unto thee, even 10 tribes.
So the kingdom was always supposed to be with Judah.
Right.
Right? So he took 10 tribes and sent them over to Jeroboam, who was of Joseph. right?
Right.
Which is Ephraim or Manasseh, really. All right.
Come.
He sent them over to them. So he was going to rule over 10 tribes. So that's what his kingdom, that's when the prophecy of the kingdom splitting. All right, keep going.
Come. Verse 37. Salakia. Verse 36. And unto his son will I give one tribe, that David my servant may have a light always before me in Jerusalem, the city which I have chosen me to put my name there.
So, he gave, Judah and Benjamin. That's what he gave. That's only with Judah, Benjamin, and the Levites where the whole thing got split. That's where, it became, it's primarily the Jews that stayed here in Jerusalem. He wanted to keep that for Jerusalem, and Northern Kingdom went and got split off with somewhere else.
Okay.
All right, keep going.
And I will take thee, and thou shalt reign according to all that thy soul desireth, and shall be king over Israel.
Okay. Go to 38.
Come, verse 38. And it shall be, if thou wilt hearken unto all that I command thee, and wilt walk in my ways, and do that is Salakia, and do that is right in my sight, to keep my statutes and my commandments, and David my servant, as David my servant did, that I will be with thee, and build thee a sure house, as I built for David, and will give Israel unto thee.
He will give Israel back to you if you follow the law. That's how we go get the kingdom back. We got to follow the law. See, that's how we go get our brothers back, right? The reason why it's hard for us to get our brothers back is we not following the laws. If we start following our laws, our brothers will come back.
Right.
Israel is the northern tribe. See what I'm saying? That's where they start being known as Israel, and we start being known as Judah. That's when the split started happening.
Come.
So go to 39, and we're gonna end it with that.
And I will for this afflict the seed of David, but not forever.
So he's gonna afflict David, but it won't be forever.
Right.
Any other questions? Anything I want to bring up? All right. Now the one thing I will say though, he took the kingdom from us, but if his son would have reigned and would have done what he should have done, the Most High probably would have brought the kingdom back.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has prophecies, he tells you what's going to happen, but he has, changed his mind.
Right.
If you're following and doing what he told you to do. It's possible. I'm not saying he would have done it right away, but it's possible. He could have changed his mind. But his son was even worse than damn Solomon.
Right.
So, all right. Anything else somebody want to bring up? Any questions, comments, concerns? Go ahead.
Just like in Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 4, I mean, it shows like he can do things like pretty much on his time. I'll read it right quick. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 7, verse 4. For they will turn away thy son from following me, that they may serve other gods. So will the anger of the Lord be kindled against you, and destroy thee suddenly.
Yep.
That's for taking on, heathen wives and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like it's
Go ahead.
Hey, just kind of on topic. What's I don't know the name of that. What's that? It's OnlyFans girl. I think her name I forgot her name, but she killed her brother. You know what I'm talking about? I think her name I forgot her name, man. But she I don't know if it's a brother, but I think it's a brother. You probably got to Google like OnlyFans page. I forgot that white girl name. It's a brother. She had kind of got like famous or something like that, and she was going out with his brother. She stabbed his ass, man. But she killed him, man. She was but they don't hardly put that on the news.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I know you're talking about. Yeah, it was a devil. He was married to her. She ended up killing him. You talking about the man was a Hamite?
and it was his cousin,
Okay.
and somebody else that was telling the story, and and a lot of people were bringing it out. So that he always bragged about it. I hate niggas, I hate niggas, I hate niggas, and and bragged on how good white women were. But she was the only fan, and she had Blake. Well, they put her in what they call like after she did crazy man. They put her in like a halfway house for like 2 weeks because she played like she was crazy, and the judge that reviewed her case said that by her being so famous or whatnot, that type of fame can bring stress, and that's why she killed him because you know how devils say they feel for their life and all that. But they had video footage of her being, her in the elevator fighting him and attacking him, and he's not doing anything. Then there were other people that lived in the residence, and you see her beating him all the time, and he never fighting back. So when she got the halfway house, she fed to a white. But the Africans and stuff, the African family was pushing so hard. Those heathen went way to Hawaii and got that chick and brought her back to Florida. And she in prison now.
Okay. Hey. So there you go. All right. Anything else? All right. That pass the class over to Precinct Officer Brock Yahanna. Should be in a folder. Look down there. Should be in a folder down there. Should be like a binder. Look over there.
Is it? Look like
Do security announcements, I.S.U.P.K. I.S.U.P.K. started on the 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rule for a new brother or sister. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They're to be saluted only. They're here to share them shields of the world. They need transportation. The teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, a brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is commandment, comes out of Numbers 18:21, Malachi 3:8-10, means tenth in the Hebrew, Ma'ashra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department a teacher. There's also a priest fund, not mandatory. Whatever amount you would like. Upcoming holy convocations is the feast of dedication with Hanukkah. It's going to start Saturday, December 17th for 8 days. You can look it up, Maccabees 4:52-61. Reminder any brothers who want to start prospecting and join the camp to get one of the officers to find out what our camp times and the locations is, and start wearing all black. That includes boots, shirts, pants, headbands, and scarves. And with that, Minister Israel Mijel, we'll give a courtesy salute to the teacher. Mijel Shabbat, Barak, Yahanna Shem Yahweh.
Yahweh Hashem Yahshua.
Any sisters online? Brother Matai, means here now. Class dismissed.